She met him at 8 p.m. By midnight, she was in his bed. Not because she's reckless. Not because she was drunk. Not because he was unusually handsome, wealthy, or smooth. She slept with him because something deep in her brain, older than civilization itself, overrode every rational defense she'd built through years of careful dating. Right now, there are men walking among us who possess what can only be described as an ancient superpower, the ability to fast-track intimacy without manipulation, coercion, or tricks, but through such profound understanding of female psychology that a woman feels compelled to surrender her guard in hours, not months. Here's the twist. These men aren't always the most attractive. They aren't always rich or socially powerful in obvious ways. They are not necessarily the alpha cliché you've been sold. What they do have is mastery of triggers that bypass a woman's logical mind and speak directly to a primitive mating brain, the same instincts that help her ancestors survive, reproduce, and protect their offspring. In evolutionary psychology, this is known as accelerated mate selection, when a woman's brain makes a lightning-fast decision. This man is worth the ultimate risk. By the end of this video, you'll understand why logic has almost nothing to do with sexual attraction, why safety, ironically, can kill desire, why the men who get instant intimacy often seem to care about it the least. Section 1. The primal override, when ancient brain meets modern woman. Here's the truth most dating advice ignores. Women don't think their way into bed. They feel their way there. That feeling, an overwhelming compulsion to be physically close to someone they've just met, isn't random. It's triggered by specific psychological cues that activate what neuroscientist Dr. Helen Fisher called the primitive mating brain. When that switch flips, the brain's limbic system, responsible for emotion, desire, and reproduction, takes over completely. The prefrontal cortex, which handles rational thinking, social propriety, and risk assessment, temporarily goes offline. This isn't a flaw. It's an ancient survival mechanism. For hundreds of thousands of years, women had to decide fast whether a man was worth their trust. In an era where survival was uncertain, spending months evaluating a mate could mean never reproducing at all. So evolution gave women the ability to quickly assess a man's genetic fitness, his capacity for protection, his resource potential. And the men who trigger this instinct today do it by bypassing comfort and creating controlled danger. Here's why that matters. Comfort activates a befriending system, the part of the brain built for platonic bonding and long-term security. Tension activates the mating system, the part designed for immediate sexual selection. This is why the nice guy who does everything right often gets friend-zoned, while the man who feels unpredictable, challenging, or slightly dangerous gets invited home. The Stoics understood this indirectly. Seneca once wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." In attraction, it means a woman's logical mind must end before her primal desire can begin. The man who can trigger that suspension creates an experience so intense that it overpowers her usual caution. Section 2. The danger paradox. Why safety kills desire. You've been told to make her feel safe. And in many contexts, that's good advice. But when it comes to raw, visceral attraction, the kind that overrides logic, safety is the enemy. Research by Dr. Esther Perel shows that sexual desire requires psychological distance and erotic tension. When a woman feels completely safe and certain about you, her brain shifts you into the family category, someone to trust, not someone to lust after. Think about it. This is why passion fades in many long-term relationships. Why women often lose interest in men who are emotionally available too quickly. Why the most electrifying attraction often comes from men who feel just beyond reach. But there's a difference between attractive danger and real danger. Attractive danger is unpredictability that excites rather than threatens. Emotional independence, wanting her, but not needing her. Standards and self-respect that she must rise to meet. This is what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive psychological pattern known. She can't quite secure your full approval. She can't fully predict your reactions. And her brain becomes obsessed with figuring you out. The Stoic idea of preferred indifference applies here. You may prefer her attention, but your self-worth doesn't depend on it. That's the difference between confidence and neediness. Section 3. The status game. Why hierarchy drives desire. Here's a truth that's uncomfortable but essential. Women are wired to feel stronger attraction to men of higher status than they currently have access to. This isn't always about money or looks. It's about how you carry yourself. A high-status man has strong opinions and stands by them, makes decisions without second-guessing, is comfortable with disagreement, maintains boundaries no matter how attracted he is. A low-status man seeks approval constantly, explains himself too much, over-accommodates and changes opinions to please, is available at her every whim. Women often can't explain this preference consciously, but they feel it. The high-status man is internally referenced. His value comes from himself, not from anyone's validation. Marcus Aurelius put it best: how much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does. But here's the catch. You can't fake high status. Women's attraction systems are incredibly good at detecting inauthenticity. Real high status comes from actual value, skills, purpose, confidence earned through work. A man who's truly high value doesn't tell a woman his high value. She feels it in every interaction. This is why pickup techniques often fail long-term. They teach men to perform confidence without becoming confident. The mask slips, and the attraction dies. Final thoughts: becoming the man women choose instantly. The men who can sleep with women instantly don't have magic lines. They've simply become the kind of men evolution designed women to respond to. Grounded, independent, unshakably confident in who they are. If you take anything from this, let it be this: stop trying to impress women. Start becoming a man you be impressed by. Because the women worth having are waiting for the man worth choosing.